Hey guys, it's Owen from Wrestling Inc. back with another wrestling news roundup. Without any further ado, let's get into today's biggest stories in the world of professional wrestling. Chris Jericho teases returning to WWE to resume an old storyline. AEW star Chris Jericho has teased returning to WWE at some point down the road. On Sunday, Raw superstar Kevin Owens changed his Twitter profile picture to commemorate the 5-year anniversary of his memorable Festival of Friendship segment with Jericho on the February 13, 2017 episode of Monday Night Raw. In response, Jericho mentioned how he is yet to get over Owens betraying him 5 years ago. Quote, "I haven't forgotten, Owens. You never know when you'll see me again." Jericho has previously stated that WWE's handling of his WrestleMania 33 match against Owens contributed to his WWE exit. Quote, "I wasn't happy with that match because they had us on second at that WrestleMania, which was the writing on the wall because they didn't care about the feud," Jericho told TalkSport last year. Quote, "That was one of the best feuds that was originally meant to be the main event of WrestleMania, and then it ends up on second. I just knew it was time for me to go. Little did I know I'd be gone forever, seemingly, but that's how it goes." Jericho signed a 3-year deal with AEW in January of 2019. Last August, Dave Meltzer reported there is a 1-year option in Jericho's contract that will keep him with the company through 2022. It's unknown if Le Champion has agreed to a contract extension with AEW. Meanwhile, Kevin Owens recently re-signed with WWE. The deal is believed to be for 3 years, which will keep Owens with WWE through at least 2024. Owens did not receive a no-cut clause in his contract. Backstage note on how Vince McMahon views current WWE product. WWE Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon does not believe, quote, anything is wrong with the current WWE product, according to Mike Johnson of PW Insider. While responding to a disgruntled WWE fan in a Q&A session, Johnson mentioned how McMahon has, quote, a billion reasons to shrug off any criticism, citing how WWE hit a new milestone of more than $1 billion in revenue last year. Quote, in his mind, he doesn't think anything is wrong, Johnson wrote. The company made $1 billion last year, so there is a billion reasons for him to shrug off any criticisms. We are told he pushes and presents what he likes and wants, and nothing else makes a dent in that vision. That's why the shows are presented the way they are, and that's why nothing is going to change anytime soon, if ever. After WWE's 2021 Q4 financial results were released earlier this month, McMahon touted WWE's record-breaking success. Quote, in 2021, we reached a significant milestone of over $1 billion in revenue for the first time in the company's history, Vince McMahon said on the investors' call. We ended the year with strong performances across each of our business lines that reflected the engagement of a wider audience with distribution on new digital platforms, including Peacock, and the return of fans at our live events. We expect the execution of key initiatives in the coming year, such as the licensing of the network content in international markets, monetization of new original series, and the continued shift to a stadium strategy for WWE's premium live events will further expand the reach of our brands and enhance the value of our content. Bray Wyatt responds to being on a list of Roman Reigns victims. Former WWE superstar Bray Wyatt has tweeted for the first time since November, amusingly asking that his name be taken off of a list of Roman Reigns victims. Give Me Sports' Louis Dangoor posted a tweet noting the fact that Roman could beat every former Universal Champion within his current reign. This is a feat he could earn at Elimination Chamber next weekend. However, that isn't a list that The Fiend believes he belongs on. Quote, take my name off that SHIT, Wyatt tweeted. Of course, Bray Wyatt is a former Universal Champion, and he was technically defeated by the Tribal Chief. It was The Fiend who dropped the title to Roman at Payback 2020 in order to kickstart Reigns' current title reign. However, it was not Bray Wyatt that got pinned in that match. This was a triple threat no-holds-barred match, and it was Braun Strowman who took the fall. So while the history books do show a win for Roman against Bray, he was never pinned or submitted by the former Shield star. In order for Roman Reigns to beat every former Universal Champion, he would need to defeat Goldberg next Saturday. The The WWE Hall of Famer is the only former Universal Champion he hasn't beaten during this run. Roman is already enjoying the longest reign in the title's history, which currently stands at 532 days and counting. Bray Wyatt has yet to appear for a wrestling promotion since his release from WWE. It has been confirmed that he will be appearing at the WrestleCon convention during WrestleMania 38 weekend. Over 200 talents are set to appear at the event in Dallas, Texas, with Wyatt being one of them. This is set to run from Wednesday, March 30 through Tuesday, April 5th. Bray Wyatt's 90-day non-compete clause is now over, so he is free to work wherever he wants. AEW reportedly did not renew Aramis' contract. AEW has brought in a lot of talent over the years. One of those just so happened to be Aramis. The popular wrestler who has worked with AAA and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla was reportedly once under contract with the company. On the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that Aramis had a deal with AEW previously, but it has since run out. The company had not planned to use him immediately, however they wanted to lock him up for the future. However, due to the pandemic, things didn't end up working out. The deal ended up expiring, with Aramis and Tony Khan opting not to renew the contract because at the time he had no plans to use him. Right now, the popular masked wrestler does not have a deal with AEW. It remains to be seen what the future has in store. For AEW, there are a lot of deals set to expire in the near future from the original roster. Speculation about the talent not having those contracts extended has been rampant. During a recent interview with TV Insider, the AEW president spoke about his commitment to not releasing talent. Quote, "When we started, a lot of people had contracts that were a couple of years long, and a lot of them are coming up. I have tried really hard to be very considerate of the people on the roster, especially going through the pandemic," Tony Khan said. That encompassed a long period of time where we were still in our first year of television and going into our second. I kept a lot of people under contract even though I wasn't necessarily using them on television, because I wanted them to still have paying work, which was really hard to come by for wrestling during the pandemic when there weren't any independent shows. Really only two places were running and the other place was cutting people left and right. I did want to give some job security to those people. WWE reportedly editing segment on Friday SmackDown. This past Friday, WWE taped the next episode of SmackDown due to the fact the roster will not be in the country next week. The crew will be traveling to Saudi Arabia for the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event. That means the episode won't be live on Friday, and WWE will be taking advantage of that to do some editing. On the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that the company is set to edit the contract signing segment on SmackDown. Footage emerged that was filmed live from the arena of Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair in an awkward-looking exchange. Ronda was set to slam the Queen onto the table, but Flair resists and then goes down, which did not look good. Because WWE has the benefit of being able to edit SmackDown for next week as it's not live, the company is set to switch things up. It is unclear what they will do exactly, but WWE does tape from several angles at once. The contract signing set up a brand new match for the upcoming Elimination Chamber Premium Live event. Charlotte Flair will be teaming up with authority figure Sonya Deville in Saudi Arabia. They will be competing against Ronda Rousey and Naomi, with WWE tapping into two storylines at once. Flair and Rousey are set to collide at WrestleMania 38 for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Meanwhile, Deville and Naomi have been feuding together for the past few months. Darby Allin makes a surprise appearance at Defy Wrestling, offers indie star AEW contract. Rising AEW star Darby Allin made a surprise appearance at Defy Wrestling's Year V event this past weekend. The former TNT champion ended up offering indie star Nick Wayne an AEW contract once the main event came to a conclusion. Though Wayne was defeated by Christopher Daniels in the final match of the night, he obviously impressed the AEW talent scouts over the course of their work together. Darby emerged as a surprise, and after taking some time to recover, Nick Wayne happily accepted the contract. On an episode of Wrestling Observer Radio that followed the event, it was noted that his contract will be unique because Nick Wayne is still 16 and in high school. For the time being, he will be considered an apprentice, but will eventually move into an adult contract when he turns 18. Nick Wayne, the son of Buddy Wayne, has made a name for himself on the indies, wrestling for promotions such as Defy, Black Label Pro, and GCW just in the last year. He's competed against stars like Blake Christian, Lee Moriarty, and Joey Janela. So what are your thoughts on the stories covered in today's Wrestling News Roundup? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe to Wrestling Inc. and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.